not raining, it's sunny in Cornwall.
Look, even the boats are dry. Here we are then, in a very wet summer's day in Cornwall, looking out at the wonderful vista behind Ocean BMW. There's more water on the car park than there is in the river. Today we're going to have a look at the GS, F800 GS, that's it, F800 GS, which has just come in to Ocean BMW. You can see there, it's got a brand new number plate. I don't think this is the standard version apparently. It's a lovely red frame, looks quite nice. And I'm going to take it for a ride, then we'll do a little bit of a brief on it. Wish me luck. It's pouring down. Let's clean the old dash off so we can see what's in there. It's got a full tank of fuel as well. Can't ask for better than that. I don't think I'm going to get much protection from the windscreen today though, somehow. So here we are then, the 800 GS. This is a bit of a thing for me because I've actually wanted to ride one of these for a long time, and I know that people don't like them because they think they're a bit staid and a bit boring. But I think these are really nice bikes. First time I saw one of these was when I was working in Lebanon, and it was down in a place called Tyre where I was working. Guy that owned a bar called the Alfanar had one. And he took it everywhere, off-roading on it, everything, and it was a really, really cool thing. But I never got a chance to ride one. So here I am. I think this is quite an underrated bike. It's very tall. I'm just concentrating round and roundabout, and it's absolutely hoofing it down here. I do believe that this bike's going to be either upgraded or binned next year. I'm not sure, but it's a nice little bike actually. Nice little wide handlebars on it. Good dashboard. Speedo on the top, rev counter down below, and then on the right hand side you've got the little square box it's traditionally had, with all the speedo and the fuel gauge and all that kind of stuff. Standard mirrors that same shape as all the GS's have got now, which are adequate. They're good. They're actually quite good if I'm honest. You can see quite a lot with them. Just trying to get used to this because the roads are really horrible today. We weren't even sure if they were going to let us take the bike out. It's that bad. But we'll see how we get on. Anyway, the screen here is a very small screen. You can see it. It's not adjustable. Well, it's not. I can see it's bolted on. Quite flappy. I've got like an Enduro helmet, a flip helmet. It's a K-Berg, but I'm not getting any buffeting off it. Although I do feel the pressure of the wind on my chest. It's not quite a Street Fighter type screen. It's only providing minimal protection. I don't know if you haven't I really haven't had a chance to see if you can adjust this at all, adjust the suspension, but it does ride really nice. And I'm surprised this bike hasn't taken off, because people complain about the 1200s being so big and, you know, they're no good off-road, which I disagree with, because I've taken them green lane in, and they are as good as people say they are. Obviously they're very heavy, but this one is a lot lighter. I'm looking down at the the hand guards here. They're not very big if you compare to the ones you can just see on Toby's bike over there, but these have got metal, proper bark busters on them really. Stainless steel, bolted on, look quite substantial, attached to the bar ends. Yeah, pretty good actually. It's quite pokey. I mean, it's an 800, so you would expect it to be. It's just like riding like a 1200, a GS. It's the same sort of shape, I suppose, although it's not got a shaft on it, but it's quite reassuringly similar, if that makes sense. Okay, so the red line on this is about 9,000, so I suppose the sweet spot is somewhere around about 4,002, something like that. And I'm in second gear now, in the 30 mile an hour zone. it was doing just over 3,000 RPM, so it's not straining. Quite comfortable doing that. People tend to ride their bikes in really high gears, like as if you're riding a car. Well, the motorbike doesn't necessarily need that. It just needs to be kept in its sweet spot. The most efficient and powerful part of the engine's range. Just dropping off the throttle there, then see what the engine braking's like, and it seems to be okay. Much underused part of the engine, that engine braking, by a lot of people. You see people with their lights on all the time. Every time they come to a bend, they go to their brakes. Well, if you can use your engine to help you slow down, it saves on brake pads, saves on servicing costs. And if you're a bit cheap like I obviously am, thinking like that, then it's beneficial. But everyone's different. So getting back to the bike, the bizarre thing about riding the bike is that it feels like you're riding a GS or an Adventure, and so you've got all that styling that's very similar as the big battle bus, but it's so much lighter. So much lighter. This bike has heated grips. It's got the standard switch gear that most BMWs have now. On the left hand side it's got an info button, which we'll go through when we actually park up and talk about it. Hazard lights, it's got suspension you can adjust on it. I don't know what the suspension settings are because I haven't had time to look at it. Literally came out the showroom, got on it and drove off. Indicators as normal. A little horn switch. And then on the right hand side you've got heated grips. I still find it bizarre that people don't put heated grips on bikes as a standard feature. You know, some bikes you have to buy them as an extra. It's just the most weird thing. And I also find it odd that bikes don't come fitted with GPS anymore now. You wouldn't buy a car without a GPS on it. So why would you expect to buy a bike? I like this bike actually. It's I don't mean to sound like I didn't expect to like it, because I think I did. I think this is fitted with Metzeler Tourance Next tyres, which I find are exceptional in the wet and in the dry, but particularly good in the wet. The tyres that are fitted on some of the other bikes, Anarchy 3s, and again it's all subjective and it's a very personal thing, but I find the Anarchy 3s really too skittish for me. GS 800, it's 85 brake horsepower, 83 newton torque, meters, gnomes, whatever they might be, and it weighs 213 kilos, and I really like it. GS beak on the front of it. It's got a standard mud flaps up, mud guard on it, and one of our Toby and mine's favourite pastimes is whinging about the way they don't protect the suspension. Upside down suspension. It's got the covers over the front there, and the new reflectors stuck to the side of it, which are part of the EU directives now. And as we come back down to the belly pan in front of the engine, it's a twin cylinder engine. Got this massive stainless steel aluminium belly pan on it, which is only just covered by the mud guard, and as usual all the crud gets thrown up into the front of the engine there, so you'd think they'd just make it a little bit bigger and then that wouldn't happen so much. Coming up, we got a huge radiator, oil cooler, whatever you want to call them, I don't know.
We got told by somebody on a comment that they were oil coolers, not radiators, but we're sticking to radiators because they're just...
People know what
they're a radiator, aren't they? We don't know what we're talking about.
No. So, so a massive radiator thing on it, and as you come further up to the front of the bike, you've got the standard old type, if you want, headlight cluster, which has still got the H7 bulbs in. It's not LED, it doesn't have LED indicators, although I'm sure you can buy them if you really want them. But I do find it weird that they put an LED rear light on it and not an LED light on it, but on the front. But perhaps they'll be changing that if they update it this year. Looking at the handlebars, nice wide handlebars, and they got these bark buster things on it. If you can look at them, they're pretty serious bits of kit. So they're expecting this to go off road, I would imagine. You don't get any protection from the wind off them, and they're attached to the bottom of the brake lever or the clutch lever. and so if you adjusted them, that would adjust everything that as well. So, but they are quite substantial.
They're solid, aren't they?
They're massive. Standard BMW mirrors, and as I try to adjust it, you'll notice that it does adjust really well.
Wow.
So I left it where it was. As I say, nice wide handlebars, bar ends attached to the bark busters there. And if we look at the ooh, look at that. If we look at the dashboard, it's actually quite hard to read it if you've got eyes as bad as mine. It's got a rev counter at the bottom and the speedo at the top, and then on the side it's got the little screen. This had this since day one, I think, and the screen can be has different modes on it. It's on rain at the moment. If I press the button on the mode switch on the handlebar here, and on the screen on the screen there, if you press it, it changes. Your little arrow comes up to next to the rain mode, and you've got road, and then you've got enduro. And if you leave it long enough, then it changes itself to whatever that is. So I've had it on rain today. So we've explained the tank before. There is no tank underneath it. The tank's under the seat. No keyless start. Got a power charger thing there. And as usual, it's the BMW thing that you have to buy an extension that makes it smaller for whatever reason. I don't know why they do that.
Money.
Really. But it's an easy place to get to. Most of them are around the front of the dashboard, and they're pain to actually use.
How did you find the seat?
Seat was comfortable actually. It's a single seat. I'm not sure whether there's. I mean, you can put a pillion on it. I don't think your pillion would want to travel far on it, to be honest. But it is a comfy seat, and again, it goes right up the front, so they're expecting you to take it sort of off-road and take a few bumps on it. It's a nice red frame, nicely sprayed up, and it contrasts well with the paint job. Apparently it's got its own website now, gstrophy.com, which is plastered all over it. Similar sort of tank fittings to the 1200 GS.
But not as pointy. They've taken the styling, haven't they?
Yeah, a little bit of
smoother
it.
styling.
Yeah. Twin cylinder engine.
Oh, it's got one of those things, Mark. What's that?
That'll be a knob for adjusting something, probably the suspension. And I'm not really sure how you would adjust that. I'd have to speak to somebody who knows, because I'd have it all set up wrong because I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
But
hold that camera.
Oh, well, that camera. Look.
Right. This is how you change it.
All right.
You
Okay.
go. Are you filming it?
I'm filming it. Look, I'm closing right on it.
Yeah. This is how you change it. You turn it.
Wow.
That's our technical bit done.
That's amazing. I'll focus in on that again there, so you can see that, because that's wow.
But I tell you what I really do like is the fact that there's a filler on the side. So
Yep.
if you do have a tank bag and stuff, you haven't got to keep taking your tank bag off just to fill up.
That's quite a good point actually. So I know you can fit steel boxes to these bikes, and they're the standard BMW boxes, and I think they're the same size as you get on GS's as well.
And they've got these as well already fitted for them, haven't they?
Yeah. So that would obviously be an extra bit. It's chain driven, nice big powerful chain on it, you can see that. A good guard that comes past the actual end of the chain, some of them don't, and that will stop crud being thrown up.
Apart from, there's nothing in there. This is, every bike we seem to ride, there is nothing, is there?
Oh, I don't know if my backs and my legs are dirty or not, but why haven't you fitted a mudguard BMW? For goodness sake, I know you're expecting it to go off-road, but you can see by the tyres you've put on it, you're expecting it to stay mostly on the road. Why don't you fit a proper mudguard to it, so people don't have to go buy a mud sling?
Yeah, 100 and whatever, 50 quid.
So, rear light is an LED light, but not LED indicators. I think it's a bit behind the times there. They've put one LED light on and everything else is bulbs.
But a lot of bikes are doing that. When I did the Suzuki and a few other bikes, they all seem to be, even the KTM, bulbs and LEDs. I don't know why. Don't know.
Something I thought about a while ago was when we were on our last tour, because on our bikes they're all the lights are LED. So what bulbs are you supposed to take to Europe with you when you go away?
Well,
you can't just take a replacement set of bulbs. Can't do anything with it if an LED.
Well, I think that's the point, isn't it? If you read legislation is about complying with it, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's not specifically about the intricacies of how you comply with it. So if you go abroad, their legislation is to take a bulb kit. It doesn't say take an LED bulb kit, it says take a bulb kit. It doesn't even say take a bulb kit that fits your bike. So we take a bulb kit.
Mine actually,
Mind you, we haven't yet to test it.
mine comes out of a camper van, so but it's just easy.
Yeah.
The exhaust. The exhaust
It's huge.
It's massive, and it's actually quite a nice shaped exhaust, and it hasn't got that BMW valve on it that's supposed to change the engine. That doesn't really do anything.
And it's really high up off the ground.
Lots of ground clearance. Easily take off and onable. That's a word I've invented, I think. So if you want to put an aftermarket valve, exhaust on it, you can do.
They're chunky.
They're very chunky things, and you don't get any vibration through your feet, which is a good thing. So it's a bit of a misnomer, this bike. You're thinking, okay, this is supposed to go off-road because it's got bark busters on it and all the rest of it, but it's got rubber bungs on the foot pegs, so you're not expecting it to go off-road.
This is where it all goes wrong. So if you've got a pillion on this bike...
My God, he's mounting the bike.
Yeah. I'm just wondering how comfy it would be for a pillion to sit on the bike. Because you've got this in the way, and I didn't know whether, with their feet on the pegs, whether they'd actually be... I suppose if you're a small person, your legs might just go down through, but you see, you're quite high up, aren't you? Hola! You're quite high up. But it's quite comfy. But those grab rails, I mean, I've got a massive fat ass, but those grab rails are really close. So I don't know how exposed you'd feel there.
I think you'd be quite high for a pillion on it. I don't think you want to have a pillion on there if you're going on a trip.
No.
A short trip, perhaps. Definitely a one-man bike, I'd have said.
Yeah.
Because that looks really, really quite high. Okay, so I think that about concludes the review of the bike. I think we both like the bike. We're not quite sure what it's supposed to be doing, but if you like the video, give us a big thumbs up and subscribe to us, because we need loads of subscribers, and we'll see you soon.